Okay, so thanks guys for joining today. Today we're going to talk about the buyer consultation. And, Weichert has a really great packet put together with a way to really connect with any potential buyers that you have, be it someone that you know or someone that you meet through a third-party lead source, someone that you meet in an open house, kind of, wherever you meet them. I think one of the most important things that we can do as an agent is to help people understand the process, right? And in doing so, what we're doing is giving someone value, right? Many people will be looking on all these different websites. They think they know what it's like to purchase a home. Really, one of the key points of being an agent are helping people better understand that process. And from start to finish, I want to make sure that you guys understand it. And again, we have the recordings done of the buying process for a condo or co-op from start to finish, as well as for a single or multifamily from start to finish. That's all on the YouTube channel. You can kind of watch that, go back to that. And this is going over really the nitty gritty of how to connect with a potential buyer to establish that they are a real buyer. And that's something that you want to do to make sure you're working with someone, that's viable and that kind of has their ducks in a row. And also to explain to them what the steps are of buying a home. And again, this packet is the easiest way to do that. So we're going to kind of go through it. Again, I'm going to kind of dissect it page by page in this. And if we have time at the end, I'll kind of go through it, just pretending like you guys are buyers and how I would actually present this packet. But again, the first thing is you guys really want to make sure that you understand the components of this packet. So, again, what are we going to be doing here? When we're doing a buyer consultation, we're going to be talking about the market and what's going on in the market. And, an important thing to remember is that here in New York, again, we have millions of homes and our market is very specific to the property type. Again, condo, co-op, single family, multifamily, and neighborhood, right? If we're looking at Canarsie versus Bay Ridge, if we're looking at, Soho versus, Gramercy, those are all going to be different markets. And even within those markets, right, a co-op in Gramercy, different price points are going to have different markets as well. So we want to be very kind of, targeted when we're talking about what's happening in the market, when we're talking to a potential buyer. We're going to explore the home buying process, right? We're going to talk about how the process goes to purchase a home and what those steps are. We're going to talk about what it's like to partner with me as a buyer's agent. The great thing is that I come at no cost to you whatsoever. I'm paid by the seller at closing. And to, again, take the next steps to get ready to go find your next home. So again, this first slide, what is your motivation for moving, right? This is really for you to have a chance to ask the person a couple things. So, if you don't already know, and again, if you do already know, you can kind of say, hey, I know you guys are having a baby, so you want to find something larger. Are there any other reasons you're moving, right? But, to really get into the nitty gritty of why they want to move, right? Some people say, my lease is up in June, I want to move before then. And even just having that timeline in mind, they want to move in June or they need to move in June, their lease is up, June 1st, then you can kind of backtrack and see where you are in the process and make sure you're hitting those kind of important milestones to get them to that point. Again, maybe it's because of work, maybe it's because upsizing, downsizing, wanting outdoor space, whatever it is, right? But really asking them, what is your main motivation for moving and what is that timeline, gets it into your mind kind of what you're working with, right? And so this is really important, again, to either ask this or to confirm it. And again, when we go over the presentation, you'll get a better sense of kind of how I go through that. Oops, sorry. So again, the next thing you say is tell me about your dream home, right? What are you looking for in terms of location, property type, again, co-op, condo, townhouse, loft, whatever it is, amenities, right? Are there any certain amenities that you need? Is a walk-up okay? Do you need an elevator? Do you need a doorman? Is there a certain subway or school that you need to be near? Do you have any pets, right? Someone might say, oh, I have a 150-pound dog. Well, that's going to take out a lot of properties, and really asking them about that will save you time and really effort down the road. So again, the next thing is let's explore the local market where you're planning to buy, right? And again, we're going to look at interest rates, inventory, and if it's a buyer or seller's market. So again, right now, and we need to update this for 2021 and beyond, we are at historically low, almost near all-time low interest rates, right? So really, what does that mean to a buyer? That means that they are going to be saving money for every dollar that they're borrowing from the bank, right? Again, if you look, even since I've been in real estate, 2007, or I joined in 8, so we were kind of somewhere in here, but it was between 5 and 6% for interest rates, right? Right now we're at 3%, so that means that the money, the interest they're paying is much less than it was back then. So that means that if they borrow, let's say $1 million, they're going to be paying significantly less in the future for that money that they're borrowing. So it's really important to, again, keep track of how that's affecting what they're going to be doing. And again, if you haven't received the mortgage calculator app, Doug has a really great one that he can share with you. So you can even plug in some numbers and see what the difference is. And again, we'll talk about that on one of the next slides. Again, the near historic low interest rates mean that home ownership is more affordable now than it's ever been for most home buyers. Again, right now, what we're seeing is prices are somewhere in the average range. Rates are at historic lows. And so it is really a great time to be purchasing, right? Especially in New York City, we're seeing pretty high increases in rent year over year. And there's a couple of reasons for that. Number one, a lot of people locked in very good rental rates during COVID. Those are expiring. Number two, people are moving back to the city who may have moved out before or are deciding that, hey, I'm done living at home. I want to live in the city. And because of that, we're seeing a fairly, and again, I would almost say catastrophic increase in rental prices. So, that is also driving people to decide to buy, which again is impacting supply, demand, and things like that. Again, right now, what we're seeing is that home prices in New York are starting to increase, right? Rental prices are definitely increasing more, but it is a great time to buy because of this upward trend in pricing, right? Something that you buy today is going to be worth more a year, 2 years, 3 years down the line. So this is one way that we can kind of illustrate that if interest rates increase, it's going to have a significant impact on affordability, right? So if we look at a loan of $600,000, again, assuming this is a co-op, 20% down required, a $750,000 purchase price, a $600,000 loan at an interest rate of below 3%, which is probably what most of your buyers will be getting these days, is going to cost $2,526.39 a month, right? If that rate were to increase to 3.99%, they're going to be paying $28.6103 a month. So that's an increase of $334, right? So every month they're going to be paying more money in interest than they would if they had captured that lower rate, right? And I don't know about you, but $334 a month in my budget would make a big difference. And so, think about it that way, right? Interest rates are so low that even if they went up 1% on a fairly, and again, I'm going to say modest because again, we're all in New York, a modest purchase price of $750,000, it's going to cost them $334 more a month. And over the 30 years of that loan, they're going to be paying $120,000 more in interest, right? That's huge. And they could save that. They could save money on a monthly basis by purchasing now. So this next slide is really to illustrate what is going on with the market, right? And when I present this slide, right, see how fast properties sell when they're priced right, is to prepare people for the market, right? And part of our job is to let people know what's happening in the market. And again, every price point, every neighborhood, every property class is going to be kind of a little different insular market. We have some amazing resources. And again, I've gone over these in other presentations in OLR and in Urban Digs as to how to see what's happening in the market, right? And again, we'll go over this again in the future, but it's important to know what's happening in the market that they're looking at, right? And if someone, again, let's say someone messaged you, they're looking for, 2-bedroom under $1 million in Murray Hill, right? That's what they're looking for. What I would do before I have this listing presentation, or sorry, the buyer consult with them, is I would go in and just do a quick search, right? See what's gone on the market over the last month in Murray Hill, see what's gone into contract. And again, you can say, hey, again, I'm not here to scare you, but 2 bedrooms under $1 million in Murray Hill are going into contract within 2 weeks or so. And that's not to say I'm going to push you to purchase a property. I just want to let you know that if you see something that you like and you think it's a good deal, there are probably other buyers out there that feel the same. And so we want to be prepared for that eventuality and prepared to put in an offer when we find something that you like. And again, you having a little bit of a sense of the market in at least the neighborhood. Again, let's say you get a lead from Op City and they're looking, in Staten Island for single family homes, do a search of the MLS and see what has sold in Staten Island, what is sold in whatever neighborhood they're looking in. So you're prepared to talk to them about the market, right? I always say this, right? It takes about 5 minutes to become a market expert, right? All you need to do is quickly look into Urban Digs, quickly look onto OLR, and you can get a sense of what the trajectory is, right? What's happening? Are things sitting on the market? Are things going into contract quickly, right? And again, I'm working in Brooklyn right now with a buyer, and most things in their price point, which is about 2.5 million, are getting accepted offers within about a month. So something they like, they want to put an offer in pretty quickly. And again, having that kind of insular knowledge is very important so that you can kind of take them through. So this illustration is probably the page that you'll want to study the most of the buyer consultation. This explains kind of the 12 general steps, and I use general because these can be a little more nitty gritty and stuff like that. But what this does is it goes through all of the different phases of the home purchase process, right? And I've kind of, in my presentation that I did for you guys about the buyer process and working with a buyer, I kind of break it down a little bit differently, but these are generally the 12 steps that you'll go through, right? The buyer consultation, which is what you're doing here with them now, to explain to them how the process works of purchasing a home. The next step is to confirm their mortgage approval, right? You don't want to take a lot of your time taking someone out that hasn't confirmed that they're able to afford a property, right? This is an important thing. And on this page, the way that you ask the question is, hey, just wanted to check with you. Are you currently working with a mortgage specialist? If they say no, you say, great. This gives me the opportunity to introduce you to Doug Cleary, our mortgage specialist with Weichert Financial, who can help get you pre-approved and make sure that you've got a great rate. If they say, I don't want to talk to Doug, you say, okay, not a problem. Which bank would you like to use, right? And we can find someone at that bank to introduce them to. And you can always say, Doug is a great person to confirm once you get the approval that that's a great rate, and to let you know if he can do any better. And people don't really have any feedback to that. Once they're approved, that's when you go and see homes. And again, those two sometimes go hand in hand. Oh, I'm getting my final pre-approval, but I want to see homes. The next is to make an offer, right? And again, it's very important to know how an offer works. Again, if you go back to the buyer process slides and the presentation that I did, it's important to know, and during this buyer consultation, it's important to let the potential purchaser know that in New York City and in New York State, we make offers in good faith, but they are not a contract, right? So when someone puts in an offer in New York, they are putting in an intent to purchase, and then all of the due diligence and all the inspections and all of those things are done, and then they sign the contract, right? And their attorney will be involved before they sign that and all that stuff. For anyone who's either purchased or owns in another state, like Connecticut, like Pennsylvania, like New Jersey, it's a little bit different, right? When you put in an offer, you're signing a contract. And again, there is due diligence done, and again, there are pros and cons to both ways, but when we put in an offer, it is not the final go ahead, and it is not anything that's binding to that, right? And telling them about that really kind of deflates some of the process and makes it so that they are okay to start looking and to maybe put in an offer, because they know they have the chance to have their attorney kind of do everything before they sign the contract, right? In New York City, in New York State, we do not write contracts as agents, right? We help our clients put together a strong offer to get the offer accepted, and then the attorney comes in. So again, number 5 on here is reach agreement. And again, that's the whole kind of negotiation thing after they put in the offer. Then they'll have an attorney. Again, it's a great time to ask them, do you have a real estate attorney that you're working with? If not, I can suggest one. Again, the most important thing here is making sure they have a New York City based real estate attorney, right? Not Uncle Joe, who's a foreclosure attorney, or not cousin Mark, who is a divorce attorney, right? New York City based co-op attorney or condo attorney, or generally a real estate attorney. Again, if they're going to be doing an inspection or anything like that, that's usually done before they sign the contract, right? And before you come to kind of full terms of the offer. If it's a condo or co-op, we'll be doing the board package and going through everything like that. If they want a home protection plan, that can be purchased through a Weichert affiliate company. Again, closing confirmation, final walkthrough, and then being there for you at the closing table or as they're kind of actually closing on the property. Again, we still have a virtual toolbox in case people are a little bit afraid of dealing with COVID and things like that. We have the option to do virtual showings and open houses to help them with neighborhood walkthroughs to get a sense of everything. Maybe if they're moving from out of state and they're not going to be here until they actually go and see properties. Again, that's part of our value, that we can help them do anything they want remotely. Again, we are here to negotiate on their behalf. We help them put together the offer, right? We never tell someone, hey, you should offer $1 million on this property, right? That's not our job. Our job is to say, hey, based on recent sales in the neighborhood, the price that they're asking is pretty on point, or, hey, I think there's some negotiability. I would recommend a range between X and Y, and then they come up with the number themselves, right? We help put together the best offer. And again, if you look back on the presentation, we go over how to put the offer together, and we help you with finding the best closing dates for you. The best thing about working with an agent like us is that we are a single point of contact, right? We can help with any property they see on any different website, right? If it's on Weichert.com, new constructions, for sale by owners, open houses, Street Easy Realtor, Zillow, Trulia, any website that anything's on, we can help represent them, their point of view, because the listing agent is the seller's agent, right? The seller's agent does not represent them and cannot fully represent them, but we can as a buyer's agent, right? So that's an important thing to let them know. And again, that this happens with no additional cost to them whatsoever, right? If they go directly to the listing agent or the seller's agent, or if they come in with us, they are paying the same price for the property, right? There's no savings by going directly or anything like that. Again, there's a pledge of service in here if you want to include this, saying to them what you're going to do for them. You're going to explain all the steps involved, get back to them promptly, act as their connection to all relevant services, be it mortgage, a real estate attorney, insurance, home movers and things like that, to provide feedback as things change, to represent their point of view, and to simplify the process, right? What I say to my potential buyers is that I help you save time and money, right? Time by taking all the burden out of, searching, finding properties, doing all this, and connecting them to service, and money because, again, I'm an expert negotiator and I really help them to make the most out of their home purchase. Again, we represent them in different ways. We'll get to the disclosures at the end of this presentation. So again, we help them to find the road ahead, right? Weichert is the only company in New York to have basically all services possible needed for purchasing a home all under one roof, right? We have our all under one roof program where with Weichert, you can have us as a real estate representative, either salesperson or associate broker. You have Doug as a mortgage broker, and we have Jamie as an insurance specialist, right? They can also get connected to any other ancillary service, be it a contractor, be it a real estate attorney, anything like that. Again, we're here to help them, figure out and this is the buyer journey, what their purchasing power is, finding a home, getting their financing, insuring it, home protection, closing, and moving in, right? And we have all of this through our all under one roof program. Again, the next step is for us to go and actually look at properties. So hopefully either you're doing this presentation before meeting with them or maybe after seeing a couple properties, but at least you've gotten a better sense of what they're looking for, what they like or don't like about the properties you saw that day, if you did see them before. And again, you can really go and help them find properties, right? And here's where I introduce the disclosure forms, right? Anytime you are working with a buyer, there are 2 forms that you need to get signed. You only need them to be signed once. And those are the New York State disclosure form and the anti-discrimination form, right? And I put these at the end of the buyer consultation. And I can tell you, even my close friends, even people who've bought a home previously with me, I still do this presentation. And the reason for that is that it helps me reintroduce these forms because, again, if it was 2 years ago, 5 years ago, they bought something, you still need these forms. And it helps them learn all the value that I pose for them, right? All the value that I can give to them. And sometimes they don't know that we have a mortgage company, or sometimes they don't know we have an insurance company. And letting them know that helps them know all the services they get from working with me as a Weichert sales associate. So again, you know, the buyer disclosure form, this form was provided to me by Jason Bauer of Weichert Properties, a licensed real estate broker acting in the interest of the buyer as the buyer's agent, right? So that's how we're going to fill out this form. You're going to put your name on this line, buyer as buyer's agent. Again, this is the same form you'd use if you're getting the listing. You would check off something different. We're not going to complicate things here. We go all the way down to here where it's we. We put our buyer's name in there, buyer, they sign, date it, boom, right? This form can be used for every property that you show to them from that point forward, right? You only need it done once. The only time you would have to have this signed again is if dual agency came up, and that would only be if you were showing them a Weichert listing and there were an agent on both sides. That's basically it. So done with that form. And again, this is not a contract, and it specifically says here now, all it does is it tells a client whose fiduciary duty they're acting for, right? In this case, I would be representing you as a buyer's agent. My fiduciary responsibility and care are 100% to you. And I've never had a problem with anyone signing these. The second form is the New York State Housing and Anti-Discrimination Disclosure. Again, all this discloses to your client or your potential client, this buyer, is that there are many ways in which a real estate broker can violate anti-discrimination law. Here are all the different ways. And here's who you contact if you feel like you're being discriminated against. Again, same thing. Put your name, put your buyer's name, they sign it, date it. This form is good through your entire journey with that client, right? So that's basically it. Oh, perfect. And we have some time. So let me take some questions first, and then I'm going to go through and basically do the buyer consultation as if we'll pick one of you. Eileen, let's have you do it. You're going to be the buyer, and we'll go back and forth and answer some questions. But let me start with asking you guys if you have any questions about what I just went over.
A quick question about the mortgage app. I don't have the mortgage app.
Sure. So if you shoot Doug a text, and just ask him to send you the Card Tap app. Basically, it's an application. Let me find it here. Real estate. So it's basically it's an app that you can share with your clients.
Yes.
And, it looks like this. I don't know if you guys can see this. It's co-branded with you, so it will have Doug's information and your information. And there's a really nifty mortgage calculator in here. So you can basically plug in different numbers. It's something that you can have. So again, if someone's like, oh, what would the mortgage be, right? Let's say you're buying something for $1 million, putting down 20%, interest rate 3%. What am I paying every month, right? $3,373 at 3% interest. So you can, it's a nice on the go kind of thing to have.
Absolutely.
Awesome. And sorry, Max, you had a question?
Okay. So you mentioned the seeing what is sold in the market
Sure.
on Urban Digs and OLR.
Yep.
So I'm not sure how to see the sold properties.
Sure.
in those platforms.
Okay. So I'm gonna close out of this for a second, just so we
I know
can
how to see the listings.
definitely. So let's go to broker.or.com. Okay, so I'll show you guys quickly on so Max's question, if you couldn't hear, is how do you see kind of what's gone into contract or what's sold on OLR and or Urban Digs. I'll just do it quickly here on OLR. You can do it on Urban Digs also, which again I can also show. But so again, let's say we're talking about Gramercy 1-bedrooms for under $1 million. So I'm going to click on Gramercy. I'm going to do a search for 1 to $1 million, and I'm going to pick 1-bedrooms. Right. So again, all I did is I went into OLR, search listings, Manhattan, sales, pulled this up. Right. So I'm going to do a quick search just to show you. So again, this is me searching right now what's active on the market. Right. So there's 39 on the market in Gramercy, $1 million or under. Pretty simple. So if I go back to the search, and over here on the right side under status, I can pick a couple different things, right? I can pick, I'm not going to hit active accepted offer contract out. I'm going to hit contract signed, right? So now we can see what is currently in contract in Gramercy for under $1 million, right? And here we have 25, right? So there are 25 things on the market. So if I just pick 1 or 2 of these, let's see. So I'm going to click on this first one. Right. On OLR, right, it's going to say the date it was listed, 6/17. They started showing on 8/15. So it's been on the market 19 weeks now. Contract signed, updated 11/1. So if I go down here, I keep scrolling down, it will usually have what happened, right? So it was priced 6/17/2021, and it went into contract. And again, we don't know the contract price, but we know it went into contract on 9/23. So it's basically 3 months, right? 90 days it went into contract. So we have a sense that it took 3 months for this to go into contract. If I go back, let's pick another one. This one.
3 months would be
90 days or so to go into contract. So
there's a chart.
yeah, that's probably a bit more of a buyer's market because it took some time. So this one, let's see, initial price 1.1, they dropped the price and then went into contract within 2 months, right? So this is, and again, if you look, it went into contract within a month of dropping the price. So you can start getting a sense of what we would call the absorption rate, right? How long would it take everything to sell on the market based on what's going on, right? And so you can kind of get a sense of that. And in the same way, if we go back here, if we go to sold, run the search, 36. So 36 have sold within the last 90 days, right? And we can go back through and look at all these. And you can also kind of control what you're looking at by here where it says show listings from. So if you pick 30, it's only going to show you stuff that's changed in the last 30 days, right? So let's do sold in the last 30 days. 11, right? So we know 11 have sold in the last 30 days. And here are all the properties. And again, I did a huge range, right? 188, this is a medical space. You know, we're probably really looking in a given price point or market, right? Most people are looking for 1 million to 1.2 million, or, you know, 700 to 750,000. So we can kind of restrict this a little bit more, and you'll get more data involving what your client is looking for. Does that make sense? Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. Again, let's go to Urban Digs. I'll show you guys quickly here since we're on it. Again, you guys all get a free 2-week trial to Urban Digs with your Weichert email. Once that's up, you don't have to pay for it. If you're using it consistently, I will give you a full paid subscription to Urban Digs. Just as a little aside, Urban Digs is very good. It's amazing for Manhattan. It's Very good for Brooklyn. There's not much info for Queens, unfortunately, but they're building out their database. So give it some time. Again, this is really Manhattan, and I would say A+ for Manhattan, A- for Brooklyn. It's like a D for Queens right now, but they're getting better and they're adding more boroughs into here. So what I can do is I can go here to charts. I pick my borough. Let's do Manhattan. Do I want to look at new developments, resale, or all properties? And again, usually we're probably dealing with resale, so let's just pick that. Let's say I want to get a sense of days on market, market pulse, price per square foot, and the absorption rate. I hit next. Okay, so this is allowing me to pick where I want. So let's just do Gramercy Park. And again, let's say we're looking at 1 bedrooms, 600 to $1 million. Again, we just want 1 bedrooms. We want condos or co-ops. Let's do everything, right? We can preview the report. And so this is going to run those analytics for us based on the market, right? And it's going to create these cool charts. Sorry for 1 second. So we can get a sense of what's going on with the market pulse. So like right now in Gramercy, it's a seller's market. We can tell that. How many days have been on market, right? Right now, we're about 59 days on market. So it's gone up a little bit. Price per square foot. Again, what's going on with the price per square foot? Absorption rate, right? If it's a buyer or seller's market. Again, we can also go to reports. Oops, I'm gonna leave this page. Sorry, if I go to dashboard, we can do a little market ticker, right? So again, let's say we just want to do Gramercy. We just want resales, apply filters, right? 14 new listings on the market, 4 contracts signed, which is lower, 4 more off market, the market pulse. So they're saying it's a neutral market. Again, this is Gramercy across all property types for all sizes, right? So again, you can play around with this. You can get some data to use when you're talking to someone, right? So that's really the whole thing. It's data that we can use to explain what's going on with the market. And again, OLR is one way to do it. Urban Digs is another way to do it. You can use both, again, depending on how much detail you want to go into. Okay, so I'm going to take these last 20 minutes that we have. I'm going to open it up. I'm going to go back to the first page. Okay, so you're going to be the buyer. Okay. So you got to unmute yourself too. And
Yes,
I'm going to pretend.
yes, I'll be the buyer.
Okay. And so let's see. Let's say you're looking for, let's just keep with the same thing. You're looking for a 1 bedroom in Gramercy under $1 million.
Oh, okay.
Perfect.
In fact, I have a friend who expressed to me that she would like to buy, and she lives in Bay Ridge renting, and she would like to buy. I mean, we can.
That's great.
Yeah, I have to reach out and do, like you said, a consultation, and I have no idea what she's looking for yet.
Yeah, and so it's a great way to kind of find that out. So okay,
Yeah,
so we'll get started. So
okay.
again, really, let me start from the beginning. Really excited to be working with you. I'm happy to help with this home search, and so glad that you're going to be moving from Bay Ridge to Gramercy, following in your daughter's footsteps. So congratulations on that. So again, this presentation is really to help to explain to you what the process is of buying a home through what's happening on the market, what it's like to work with me, what the steps are actually in purchasing a home, and getting ready so that when we find the home that you want, we're ready to go and ready with the team that we need in order to do that. So again, I know you mentioned that you're moving from Bay Ridge to Gramercy, and you're currently renting and looking to purchase your first home. So are there any other reasons that you're really motivated to move?
Motivated to move. It's just I'd rather not waste my money on rent and invest my money into owning a home.
That's great.
And living in the city, it's closer to my job.
Perfect. That's great. And again, I know you mentioned you're working in the city. Is there any kind of certain subway that you'd like to be near to get there more easily, or are you looking for something that might be walking distance? I know we talked that Gramercy was kind of your intended neighborhood. Is that where your office is, or?
I would like to be close to like an 8 minutes walk to subway, to like the N train.
N train? Okay, perfect. That's great. And again, you've got a station right there on 23rd Street, so we can definitely find something that's
Okay, great.
that's
That
near
sounds
there,
good.
or near Broadway, where you have, you know, that yellow line. A couple things I always like to ask, you know, are you familiar with co-ops and condos and kind of the difference between the two? Is there one that you prefer, or are you open to both?
I prefer a condo, but I would like to hear more about it. I'm not a condo if it's available in Gramercy.
Perfect. Yeah, there's some really nice newer construction condos in Gramercy. A lot have gone up over the last 5 years, so there are definitely going to be some options for you. Again, you know, the biggest difference, just so it's kind of fresh in your mind, between a co-op and a condo. In a co-op, you're purchasing shares of the company that owns the building, and with those shares, you have the use of the unit. For all intents and purposes, you're buying the unit, but on paper, it looks a little bit different. With a condo, you're buying the physical space of your unit, as well as the undivided interest in the rest of the building, some percentage of that building. You know, again, most of the time we associate co-ops with being a little more restrictive. That can be the case, but there are some co-ops that are very open, allow subletting and things like that. So don't, you know, if you're open, I think we should always, you know, consider them as well. You know, the other main difference, and again, both will have a board, both will have a board approval process. Usually with a co-op, you'll have a board interview. Usually with a condo, you won't. But again, you know, things change from building to building. And on a monthly basis, in a co-op, you'll have one monthly maintenance, which will include real estate taxes on the building, as well as the upkeep of the building as a whole. In a condo, that's separated out into two numbers. You'll have a taxes, which you'll pay directly to the city or to your mortgage company, and you'll have a maintenance fee. You'll have common charges, which are paid directly to the building itself. So again, you can look at the maintenance in a co-op as those two numbers kind of smushed together. And again, it's just semantics for all intents and purposes. One question I know we didn't talk about, you know, Gramercy has a lot of pre-war buildings, and some of those are townhouses that have been converted into, you know, different units and things like that. Would you be open to a walk-up building, or is an elevator something that you definitely need?
I prefer an elevator, but
Okay.
if that doesn't work, then we'll.
Okay, not a problem. We'll start with elevator
Okay.
buildings and kind of take it from there. So thanks so much. So again, we're going to be talking about interest rates, inventory, and kind of where the market is right now in Gramercy. So again, as you mentioned, you are currently renting, and it's really a great time to buy. Interest rates are at basically near historic levels. You know, have you spoken to a mortgage specialist yet?
Not yet. I haven't started the process.
Okay, not a problem. If it's okay with you, what I'm going to do is I'm going to have my amazing mortgage associate, Doug Cleary, reach out to you. He's with Weichert Financial. He can help get you pre-approved, which is kind of, you know, it's the first step in seeing what your purchasing power is, and making sure that we've got everything together to purchase this home. I'll have him reach out to you if that's okay. I'll give you his phone number so you can put it in your phone. Is tomorrow at 4 a good time for him to give you a call?
That's fine. Yeah, tomorrow's
Awesome.
good.
Perfect. So I'll set that up with Doug, and also send an introductory email so you've got his contact information as well. So that's really great. And what that low rate allows you to do is afford more home, right? You know, right now prices, and again, if you look at this graph, prices are actually at a very good level. We're somewhere between the lower and average on the New York pricing. Again, the good thing for you is that prices are starting to creep up. Good and bad, because you're going to be appreciating in any investment that you make. And at the same time, interest rates are at historic lows. So it really is a great time to buy, to take that money that you're paying in rent and turn it into equity in yourself and your family. So really a great time. And again, as I mentioned, right now, we're seeing that prices are going up a bit. In Gramercy, we're kind of at a normal market where we're seeing appreciation somewhere between, you know, 1% and 3%. And so it's definitely a great time to kind of get into the market. Again, you know, this chart is really interesting, I think, because it shows you what the interest rate has on your monthly bottom line, as well as the bottom line for those 30 years of your mortgage, right? And so, again, just in a general scenario here, with a 1% increase in interest rates with the same loan amount, you're actually paying $334 a month by not taking advantage of these low rates. Again, I know you said you're buying in, kind of the $1 million range. So the impact would actually be even more dramatic there. So really, again, a great time to buy and take advantage of the market. So again, properties that are priced well are selling fast. And I want to, kind of diffuse this whole thing by letting you know that my job is to be an asset to you and to help you through this entire home buying process. My clients, and again, I'm happy to give you some if you'd like to talk to them and kind of get reviews of me. You can find some online. I am not a pushy salesperson, right? My job is to be here for you through this entire process. And the day that you close and move into your new home, you're going to be so happy with me that you're going to refer me to your friends and family. And again, I know you were referred to me by Christine. 99% of my clients come from past referrals. And so it's important to me to be here for you. So I'm never one to say you have to put an offer or you have to be pushy. The reason that I want to let you know what's going on in the market, and again, things in Gramercy that are well priced are going into contract quickly, is that if we see something that's great, seems underpriced or great value, there are probably other buyers who see it the same way as well. So my job is to help you be prepared and ready to purchase when you are ready. And so I just want to let you know that, things are moving fairly quickly in the market right now. And so we want to be as prepared as possible. Again, if you buy next week, next month, or next year, doesn't make any difference to me. I want to be your broker for the rest of your time living in New York City and for you to refer me to your friends and family. So just to let you know that, again, things are moving fairly quickly right now. So I want to kind of prepare you for that market. Again, I'm here every step of the way. You've started this home purchasing journey with this buyer consultation. We talked about your mortgage pre-approval. And again, I'm going to be having Doug reach out to you. We're going to go see some homes as well. One of the good and bad things about purchasing a home in New York State is that when you find something you like, we can put in an offer and it's not a binding contract. Some other states it is. Basically, we put in an offer in good faith and we negotiate, and then your attorney will step in and do all of the due diligence. And what that means is that they're looking at the financials of the building. They're looking at anything with the construction and kind of the formation of the condo or the co-op, as well as when the systems of the building were last upgraded, right? If you're buying a house in the suburbs, you'll probably do an inspection. I see the work that the attorney does kind of as the inspection, right? Because, in a condo or co-op, you're responsible for your unit, but the systems of the building are the responsibility of the board. And so, we won't have someone check the roof or the boiler or anything like that, but the attorney will say, when was the boiler last replaced? When is the local law 11 need to be done, right? So he's kind of doing like an inspection of the building for you through his due diligence. And nothing will be signed by you and no money will be put down for a deposit until you are satisfied with the answers we've got, right? And so that's why having an amazing attorney is so important. Do you have a real estate attorney here in the city or do you need a recommendation?
I could use a recommendation, actually.
Awesome. So I've got a couple that I've worked with that I really like. Again, I'll send you over a list. It's a great time to kind of use this time now to start feeling out. My biggest recommendation is no matter who you use, make sure it's someone who is based here in the city, is familiar with condos and co-ops, and charges you a flat rate, right? Sometimes people think, oh, an hourly rate will be better. I can tell you that my experience with my clients who picked that said, I should have listened to you in the past. So no matter who you use, find someone who charges kind of a flat rate for you.
Flat rate.
Again, once everything's done with the attorney, what you'll do is you'll sign the contract and put down the contract deposit. That's typically 10%. After that, we will work together on the board package. Again, something I've done hundreds of, if not thousands at this point. And it will basically be financial information we'll put together to present to the building, either for a rubber stamp in the case of a condo or to get an interview in the case of a co-op. And again, some people get a little concerned with, oh, I have to be interviewed and things like that. If we decide to go forward with a co-op, again, we'll know by the time you get there that there's a very, very overwhelming likelihood that you'll be approved by the board. And again, I have a really good track record of helping people prepare for that interview. So don't worry about that. It's ways down the road, and we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. We can also help you with other things before the closing. We have an insurance company, Weichert Financial, and Jamie Goldberg's our amazing insurance specialist. He's really great at helping shop around and find the best policy for you and your needs. That also is required by the building. We can have a home protection plan. And again, we'll do a walkthrough of the unit before you close to make sure everything's all set. And again, I'm here for you through that and the closing itself, getting your keys, moving in. And again, our relationship does not stop there. You're stuck with me for life. So I hope you're ready to have a great relationship.
Yeah, I really appreciate your help, and I'm going to trust you as my agent for sure. Thank you.
I'm glad to hear that. Again, I know you're local. Just in case, again, you're ever away for a weekend or you're not able to make something, we've got some great virtual tools. So if you need, if you can't make an open house, I can always go there, make a video for you, FaceTime you. We're here to make it as seamless as possible throughout whatever's happening with COVID. Again, we're in a good spot right now. Who knows what's going to happen over the winter? Again, we're happy to help through all of that.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
Again, my job is to help you save time and money. And again, by helping connect you to all these services, I'm helping you save a lot of time and finding, well-priced services as well in terms of the mortgage specialist, in terms of the attorney and the insurance and things like that. I'm also here to help you save money. And so I'm going to help you negotiate the best possible price for this home. And again, sometimes that's the asking price. Sometimes that's below the asking price. Sometimes that's above the asking price. I have some great tools and databases to figure out really what the market value of this property is. I've sold, again, dozens, if not hundreds of homes across New York City, many in Gramercy, actually. And so I'm going to help you kind of put everything together. We're going to put together an amazing offer that the seller won't be able to refuse. And we'll be able to work together to kind of get everything done. Again, the greatest thing about this is you don't have to pay me anything for my service, right? I'm paid by the seller at closing, although my responsibility and fiduciary duty is to you as the buyer.
That's excellent.
Again, and anything you see online, I can help you with. I always tell people, based on our search today and what we see that we like and don't like, I'm going to tailor a search in our database. And I'm going to send you listings. It's pretty exhaustive, but you might find things on a different website. Something seems too good to be true. Email it over to me, right? I will do all the background. I'll check into it. I'll contact the agent. Again, for sale by owners, any open house you want to go to, just let me know. I'll register you. I'll come with you. We'll work together to see anything that's possibly on the market. Again, I'm here to explain everything before it happens, to always get back to you, to connect you to all the services you need, to represent you and your point of view and your best interest, right? I'm not representing my best interest. I'm representing yours. And that's my fiduciary responsibility as a real estate agent to help you through this process. And again, I'm going to help simplify it, right? It can seem like a daunting process. I'm your tool and resource. So anytime you have a question, reach out, text, call, email me. I'm here for you through this whole process. So again, I'm going to introduce you to Doug so you can kind of have that service, and Jamie, so you've got everything about the financial aspects of this. And again, here from the beginning through the end of the process, if you need movers, contractors, whoever it is, again, I've been in the city for almost 16 years now, and I've been working in real estate for almost 15 years now. So I've got everything you need. So you can get everything from me all under our Weichert roof, through the whole transaction. So again, really excited to go see some homes. There's just two forms that I want to introduce you to. The first is the New York State disclosure form. Again, looks pretty big. It's actually not saying that much. Not a contract. It's not saying you have to work with me or anything like that. What this is saying is that I am a licensed real estate agent with Weichert, which I am, and I'm going to be representing you as your agent, right? The buyer is the buyer's agent. And again, you don't have to pay me anything for my service. My fiduciary responsibility is to you, but I'm paid by the seller at closing. So I'm just going to check off here. If you can just sign and date this. I'm happy to answer any questions. And again, I'll give you a copy of this to take with you. And this second form is the anti-discrimination form. New York State requires that as a licensed agent, I want to let you know that there are many ways in which I could discriminate against you It is in my practice to never ever do that. It's against the law and it's against my ethical code. But I wanted to let you know there are all these ways that it could happen. And if you do feel like for some reason I've discriminated against you, here's the contact information for where you can contact the New York Department of State. So here we go. Just gonna fill this out. There you go. If you don't mind signing this, again, I'll give you a copy of it, and we'll be all set to go from here. So really looking forward to working with you and finding your next home. So let's go look at some property.
Same here. That's wonderful. You make it so much easier for me.
Thank you. I appreciate that. So good
Yeah,
work.
no.
Thank you for your acting skills. I appreciate them.
No problem.
So
I have a
again,
quick question.
sure.
I have a quick question. In the for sale by owners, how would the buyer agent get paid if there's
So
no listing agent?
definitely. So when you're looking on, Zillow, StreetEasy, sometimes there'll be for sale by owners. Oftentimes in the description, it will say, buyer's agent compensation of X, right?
Okay.
So in New York, because there's a lot of work involved, I would say 9 times out of 10, the for sale by owner person will either eventually list with someone or they will pay a buyer's broker some sort of commission, right? And
Okay.
again, we have a form that you can get signed to get that in writing from them before you show the property. If it's in the description, it's kind of able to be held. But if not, before you show the property, you could say, hey, I have a buyer, would you pay me something?
Right.
If they say absolutely not, I'm not paying you anything, then that's like the very slim chance. And again, in my experience, so far I've never had that happen where they haven't paid, but sometimes they won't. And either you just, you can ask your client if they'll pay something, which again, that would be the 1.001% case where maybe they would pay something, or you try to work it out with the seller, right? If it just
Right.
came on the market, they're less likely, but if it's been on the market for a while, they're usually likely to say, okay, fine, I'll pay you 1%, right? Again, not the commission we probably want to get, 3% is much better, but it's still something for your time. And again, it's about building that relationship with the client. And again, 99.9% of my business at this point is past renters or buyers that I've dealt with who refer me to friends and family. So
Right.
it builds from there. So sometimes you take the 1% commission, you smile, and they'll refer you people down the road. So you'll make it off
Yes,
many
exactly.
times down the road.
Thank you.
Great. Any other questions on this? Okay, so thank you guys for your time. I'm going to stop the share. I'm gonna stop the recording.
Jason,